Hello. I know it's been a while. Okay, so before I deep dive into the content of this video, and I probably want to say this like 10 times this video, but I want to say that all of the information I am about to give you has been directly channeled and relayed by the Galactic Federation since 2012. And I also want to say that I have spoken about each individual event that I'm about to go into in my previous videos. So if you were to go through my videos from start to finish, you're actually going to uncover some of these nuggets from the Galactic Federation. Once again, I wasn't sure if this was appropriate information to give people. And so I had to check in with the Galactic Federation to ask them if it was appropriate. And they said yes. And they said one of the reasons they've told me throughout the years is to eventually put it all together and give it to you. I just want to say, okay, I'm just going to be relaying the information that they've given me, and I'm going to try and leave my emotional or personal human experience out of each event that happened, if that makes sense. Okay, I really just want to give you, this is what happened, here's the timeline, this is what they said. Okay, that's really, I just want to keep it really clear. Okay, cool. All right. Okay, so let's talk about the global reset. I will say that I have been contacted by the Galactic Federation since, very specifically, December 21st, 2011. So it was the last couple of days before 2012, which apparently was this huge, it was supposed to be the collapse of the planet or whatever it was, right? The end of the world, right? 2012. Anyway, so that was my first ever meeting with the Galactic Federation was December 21st, 2011. And they gave me a lot of information. Hi, Enlightened Tarot. Thank you so much for that. Super chats, of course, always appreciated. Donations, always appreciated if this information resonates with you. So I just want to say as well that all of the information from the first meeting with the Galactic Federation is actually in my first lecture that is on my website right now. And I talk way more in depth about this. I'm just going to skim over these experiences. Okay, so in December 21st, 2011, during a meeting, first meeting ever that I had with the Galactic Federation, it was inside the center of the moon. Yes, believe it or not, inside the moon. The moon is hollow, but I talk about that in my lecture. They told me a lot of things. They told all of us a lot of things. There was tens of thousands of souls who were at this meeting, and there was a lot of beings who were astral traveling into the meeting. So I personally astral traveled. I followed a Palladian man who came to visit me. I astral traveled inside the center of the moon. I know it sounds freaking crazy. I thought it was too. So they told me about a lot of concepts. They told us about a lot of concepts that didn't make any sense to me back then. And now that we're actually moving through the timelines that they told me about, it makes a lot of sense. Okay, so this is what they told me. They told us, in general, they told us about the 144,000. I didn't know about this concept. Apparently, it's quite a biblical concept. They told us about this group of souls who they called the 144,000. They said that these beings in particular are actually ambassadors from other galaxies, other cosmos, other species that decided to volunteer to this planet to help raise the conscious awakening. They told us that at the point in time when there's 144,000 of these ambassador souls on the planet is going to ascend back into Christ consciousness. And that's also another kind of biblical concept that Jesus or God was going to come back. I don't believe that a man's going to come back and say that he's God. I do believe that humanity as a whole is going to ascend into Christ consciousness. I believe that truly, the last time we were in Christ consciousness was actually not when Jesus was around. It was not when Buddha was around. It was not when, all of these other, ascended masters dinosaurs were around. I believe the last time that we had Christ consciousness was way back in ancient Lemuria and ancient Atlantis. And thank you so much for that super chat. Yeah, way back in the day, okay, to ancient Atlantis and ancient Lemuria. That was the last time that the entire globe was on the fifth dimensional frequency. Even during Jesus, I mean, they condemned him, right? All he was sharing was love, and they killed him, right? We weren't ready for that. So they told me back in 2011 that the 144,000 are going to come to this planet. They're going to raise the vibration. At that time, we're going to reach Christ consciousness, which I just believe is a fifth dimension frequency. Okay, it's just a vibration. They also told us, and I had no idea what they were talking about, they also told us way back then, around 2012, that there was going to be 3 days and 3 nights of darkness. The craziest thing is that this is once again another extremely biblical reference. Now, I was raised Catholic, but I don't remember ever learning about the 144,000 and 3 days and 3 nights of darkness. Like, I feel like they didn't really teach that in church. Anyway, but people tell me that it's biblical. So they told us back then. And what they said about the 3 days and 3 nights of darkness is, at a certain point in time, when the collective consciousness of the planet is going to ascend and rise, that there's going to be this huge they didn't say electromagnetic, they said a huge wave of energy was going to hit the earth and penetrate the earth. And essentially, this wave of energy was going to purge people who were not supporting the new paradigm of the high vibration. Okay, that's what they told me back then. And I will tell you that when they told me that this wave of energy is basically going to kick off and purge all the people who were not going to reach that vibration, I was so freaked out. I was actually kind of pissed. I'm like, so all my friends, every single student in every classroom I have in university, my entire family, and probably the dog is going to die, right? Like, I thought to myself, no one in my life, this was back in 2011, I thought to myself, no one in my life right now is ready to ascend. No one in my life right now is ready for that next step of consciousness. I had no idea, conscious awakening was going to rapidly increase so fast. And here we are. And if you said that the planet was going to be purged of all the beings who weren't ready to ascend, I'd say, cool, I'm keeping all my people, right? I'm keeping all my people because they're all ready to ascend, right? And it doesn't take, a master meditator to ascend to the next vibrational level. All it takes to ascend to the next vibrational level is willingness to change. Literally, that's it. There's going to be a lot of people moving on to the next level. So they told us that, right? Now I'm starting to piece it together, and I'm starting to think that this huge wave of energy could potentially be the Schumann resonance spikes, right? This just came to me in meditation a couple of days ago. I'm like, oh my goodness. Imagine if the entire world is on lockdown and then the Schumann resonance, right? The vibrational frequency of the planet spikes to like 250 for a period of, 3 days or 10 days or whatever. Like we would all be reliving past lifetimes. We would all be confronting our fears. We would all be understanding the truth within ourselves. We would all be breaking through the fucking matrix. We would all be doing that. It doesn't take, a yogi in Burma to do that anymore, right? Anyway, I'm getting too excited. Okay, so that was the 2011 meeting that I had, the first meeting I ever had with the Galactic Federation. If you want to know more about that meeting, check out my lecture, Galactic Federation, on my website to get more information on that, because I talked all about that at the Laughlin conference. Okay, let's talk about not the second meeting I had with the Galactic Federation, but the second, I guess, most mind-blowing meeting that I had that's relevant to today with the Galactic Federation. You have to understand that I've been checking in with the Palladian Council and the Galactic Federation since 2011 when I got, introduced to them. I wasn't even online until 2016, right? So there's a lot of information that they've given me. All right, so let's fast forward from 2012 to 2016. back in 2016, they gave me this absolutely mind-blowing revelation, something called the Mandela Effect. They did not tell me that it was the Mandela Effect. They never used those words. After doing a little bit of research and internal searching on it, I realized that there is a worldwide phenomenon called the Mandela Effect that explains to a T what the Galactic Federation explained to me way back then. If you guys want more information, verbatim, word for word, on what the Galactic Federation told me about the Mandela Effect and that whole experience that I had, I have a 3-part video series literally entitled Mandela Effect that I put out there in 2016 right after I had that experience. It's really epic. I'll post it to the community after this. Okay, so this is what they told me. It's a lot. It's a long story, but essentially I traveled up to their ship. They had a big room meeting, as they always do, and this is the Palladian Security Council. And they said, Elizabeth, we have something to tell you. This is what it is. And so they showed me this hologram projector of 2 planet Earths, okay? 2 Earths side by side. And I'm looking at this and I'm like, that's weird. Why is there a second Earth? I was so confused. And they told me, and I don't know, I honestly don't know if they just used that hologram as a metaphor or if there's actually 2 Earths, I'm not sure. Anyway, so they showed me these 2 Earths and they told me that back in 2012, they told me this in 2016, they said back in 2012, there was a collapse of the reality that we knew of back then. There was a collapse of the current reality. And as the current reality collapsed, and they actually told me that it was CERN who basically opened up a portal when they shouldn't have opened up a portal, and they collapsed our entire reality. The Galactic Federation, I said, why didn't you stop them? Are you kidding me? CERN did this? And they said, no, this is all a part of the plan. The whole, virus scare, right? It's all a part of the plan. And so I was kind of pissed at them. Anyway, and so they said, when our one reality collapsed, what happened was we were so polarized in a high vibrational state and a low vibrational state at that time in 2012, which was the end of the Mayan calendar, right? The end of the world as we know it. It truly was. What happened was that our planet split into 2 planets. And now, really fully understanding superposition theory in quantum physics, I truly understand that it is one physical planet, but we have 2 different matrix realities that are laying on top of each other. That's why we have half the planet remembering one reality and we have half the planet remembering another reality, because our reality, the space-time continuum, freaking split. It's crazy information, I know, but it split way back in 2012. And what they told me in 2016 is that we as individual humans have been hopping back and forth between 3rd dimension frequency, old Earth, like they mentioned it to me, and 5th dimension frequency, which is, they call it new Earth, right? We have been hopping back and forth since 2012 without even knowing it, between low vibration and high vibration, low vibration and high vibration. Okay. Then they told me that 3D Earth was going to be destroyed, and within the destruction of 3D Earth, we are going to ascend to 5D Earth, and we're going to make that full, complete transition, right? And souls then have a choice to make that transition between 3D. Do you want to, perish and move on and go into another lifetime and incarnation, or do you want to stay on and raise your frequency and help the planet collectively, right? We had a choice. So that was really interesting. Super interesting. So check out my 3-part series that I'll be posting. Okay, now let's fast forward again to another conversation that I had with the Galactic Federation. I honestly don't remember if it was 2018 or 2019 that this came through. I think it was 2019. This was fairly recent. If you guys have been following my content for a while, you'll know this information because I brought it up to you a while ago. Okay, so the Galactic Federation told me, right, same security Palladian Council, I asked them, how's the planet doing? Is there anything we should be aware of? And they told me that in 2021, we were going to experience a solar flare, a massive solar flare event. And they even showed me a map of the world. And they literally showed me, like, basically they showed me it as an image. They didn't even say solar flare. And the image looked like this kind of like a reddish orange light that, like, almost like a ball of fire that was kind of hitting the earth. And I saw that specifically it was going to hit the top of Russia. That's the continent. And I said, what is this? Is this an alien invasion? Is it an attack? Is it bioweapons or superpower charged laser beam weapons that the government has? Like, what is going on? And they said, no, it's actually a solar flare. They told me that this solar flare was going to happen in 2021. They told me this in 2019. And they said that, the solar flare was going to wipe out the electrical grid of the planet, and it was going to also wipe out the internet for a short period of time, because it was a surge of electricity that the planet wasn't ready for, I guess. And so they just said, hey, tell people, because it's 60% likely to happen. So I just want to say, guys, that when we're talking about the future and we're talking about predictions and whatever, anything could potentially happen. So please take or leave anything that I say, take or leave anything that the Galactic Federation says. And that's why they tell me that it was only 60% likely to happen. But they said it was so likely that I needed to tell other people about it happening potentially, right? So like I said in that video of the solar flare, get prepared with food and water, get prepared to be at home, get prepared to be off the grid, even in the city. Like, I told people that back then. Okay. So they told me that this solar flare, because I asked them, once again, I'm like, aren't you guys going to stop the solar flare? Like, come on, like, you definitely have technology that can freaking reflect the solar flare back into the sun, like, right? And once again, they told me that it was meant to happen on the planet, and that's why they wanted me to be a messenger and give that message, right? They told me that the solar flare was going to basically be that electromagnetic wave of energy that was going to wipe things out, to basically reset things for the new paradigm. It was about the new paradigm, resetting for the new paradigm. And then I'm like, oh, is that going to be the 3 days and 3 nights of darkness that they told me all the way back in 2012 that needed to happen to reset the new paradigm, right? So now here I am putting things together. I didn't ask them about that during that channel because I didn't even think about it. Okay, cool. Now let's fast forward to a week ago, okay? So 1 week ago, the Galactic Federation, I've been tuning into them at least once a week because, I mean, things are moving so quickly here. So then this is what they told me, and it was very cryptic, but like I said, take it or leave it, guys. Use your own discernment, like I said in the first video, okay? The Galactic Federation told me, they said, if humanity learns our lesson, then we could avoid the solar flare and we could potentially wake up now. Which is amazing, right? This is a really good thing. You know, it's kind of like going through an ego death, and instead of 1 year you get divorced, 1 year you lose all your money, 1 year you lose your job. It's like you get divorced, you lose your job, and you lose your money all in one go. If humanity can rip the Band-Aid off right now at this time and wake up instantly, let's do it. Like, let's crash hard and then let's rise above. I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to crash and then rise and then crash and then rise again, right? Like, I'm like prepared to just deep dive into it. So basically the Galactic Federation told me a week ago, if humanity learns our lessons, and they were very coy about what exactly those lessons were, then we could avoid the solar flare and wake up with this whole, you know, COVID-19 situation going on. What else did they say? Hold on. Yes, okay. They also told me, but I'm just going to say this, take it with a grain of salt. It was not a very clear message from the Galactic Federation, but I need to tell all of you that we could potentially have a power outage and we could potentially have an internet outage moving forward. There's a lot more information that I've been receiving from them. And I'm gonna actually put out a video moving forward probably next week about this. So once again, I just want to warn all of you that there is a likelihood of having either a power outage, which shouldn't be totally necessary, I just want to say, but essentially an internet outage is way more likely during this time. We need to reset things like Google and YouTube and social medias and the banking systems and the whatever. We need to have a total reset. And the Galactic Federation, the White Hats, whatever you want to call them, they need time to work to reset things. They need time. It could be anywhere between 3 and 10 days of a complete blackout, right? So when they told me that there was going to be a period of 3 days and 3 nights of darkness, I wasn't sure what they meant. Was that the sun is going to go away, the moon is going to go away, the stars are going to go away? Like, I don't know what they mean by darkness. Now I'm starting to understand that it could potentially mean an internet outage, an internet offline. I want to tell you, this is a time to meditate. I asked my spirit guides way back in 2012, 2011, and the Galactic Federation, I should say. I asked them, I said, what do we do when we have that darkness? What do we do when we have that outage? What do we do if that happens? Should I go run to a store? Should I, raid the streets? Like, what's going to happen? And they told me, stay inside and meditate and go within and let go of distraction. And if you can, fast. Okay? Not because of lack of food, but fast because you can get your vibration that much higher. Okay? So I don't want to freak anyone out. I'm just saying it's way better to be prepared and aware. And I hope that we don't have to go through that. And in a way, I hope that we just learn our lessons without having to have that darkness. But I do believe that we're going to get a huge spike from the Schumann resonance. Because I do believe that Christ consciousness is coming back to this planet. I honestly didn't think it was going to be in 2020. I felt like it was going to be in 2024. Maybe this is the destruction, and maybe we are rebuilding for the next 4 years, rebuilding our consciousness, rebuilding our society in a proper way. But I needed to just kind of lay down the list of events from 2012 to 2016 to 2018 to a week ago of what the Galactic Federation has told me. And that's just objective, guys. These things could happen. Just be prepared. And what else did I want to say? There was one more thing. What was it? Oh, it's like right at the tip of my tongue. Okay, I'm going to leave you guys with that. Hopefully that resonates with you. If not, that's okay too. Yes, this is what it was. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to have another meeting with the Galactic Federation and the Palladian Council, because the GFL is huge, but with the Palladian Council. And I'm going to ask them questions because I feel like there's a lot more questions now than before. And I'm going to actually ask all of you to put in your questions for the Galactic Federation. Obviously, I'm not going to ask them all of them. I'm going to probably choose 5 to 10 questions that I feel are very relevant, that you guys want to know. And I think they're going to be really happy to hear from you. So I'm going to post in the community section right after this video, and I'm going to ask all of you to submit your Galactic Federation questions. But please, no silly questions. Like, please take this seriously and don't waste my time, and definitely don't waste their time, okay? Something that all of humanity could really benefit from, and maybe a perspective that you're curious in, that everyone's curious in, okay? Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I will be back next week with the update from the Galactic Federation directly, Q&A style, just like I had before, to answer any of the questions that you have. But I also want to say, talking about the last video that I did just a couple minutes ago, the what is the truth, remember that who's a good guy, who's a bad guy, what's right, what's wrong, none of those questions matter. And I guarantee you that if you ask a question like, is Q JFK Jr.? If you ask that question, they're going to laugh at you, okay? That doesn't matter. That information is completely irrelevant. So please ask questions that are relevant, all right? With that, thank you everyone so much for your donations and super chats. Thank you for your subscriptions and your support. I love you all so much. Go choose your favorite crystal, set an intention into the crystal, plant it back into Mother Gaia, and let's all get together for this collective meditation on April 4th, I believe. And I'll post about that as well. And then if you want to check out a really cool video, check out the Mandela Effect video straight from the Galactic Federation that I will also be posting. All right, bye for now. Stay safe.